Salut à tous, c'est Pump et très heureux de vous retrouver aujourd'hui pour cette vidéo très sympathique réalisée en collaboration avec Goof. Alors Goof, il se présentera mieux lui-même juste un peu après dans cette vidéo, mais c'est tout simplement l'un, si ce n'est le meilleur joueur au monde de Pokémon Unite. Et ce qu'on a fait, c'est qu'on a analysé ensemble la finale tout simplement de mes derniers tournois weekly de Pump que je fais tous les vendredis et que je caste tous les vendredis soirs donc sur ma chaîne Twitch. Si vous voulez vous inscrire, évidemment les liens sont dans la description. Si vous voulez participer au tournoi tous les vendredis soirs, n'hésitez pas. Et voilà, donc on va analyser un petit peu les compositions. J'ai parlé un petit peu, j'ai posé des questions à Goof du style est-ce que c'est mieux Pyrobut ou Amphinobi dans la jungle, est-ce que quelle est la force de Florizarre, etc. Plein de petites questions comme ça d'analyse dont il va pouvoir parler. On va aussi analyser les teamfights. Bref, il y a énormément de connaissances que Goof nous a donné, avoir les insides d'un des meilleurs joueurs du monde, ça fait extrêmement plaisir. Alors Goof est américain, donc forcément la vidéo va être en anglais. Je vais parler en anglais avec mon délicieux accent. Il y a des sous-titres, cela dit, j'ai préparé des sous-titres sur cette vidéo, alors ils ne sont pas affichés sur cette vidéo, mais ils sont disponibles via YouTube. Si vous cliquez par ici, si vous êtes sur mobile avec les 3 petits points, ou en bas dans le lecteur juste ici, si vous êtes sur ordinateur, vous pouvez activer les sous-titres en français. Normalement ils sont tout bons, j'ai tout configuré, il n'y a pas de souci, comme ça vous pourrez suivre la vidéo de la meilleure des façons. Sur ce, je propose qu'on commence dès maintenant avec la présentation de Goof, puis l'analyse de quelques points de composition. So, I'm with Goof, I'm with George in the vocal. George, how are you? And can you present yourself for the viewers that may not know you yet?
Sure, guys. Hi, I'm Goof, GG, or George. I play Pokemon Unite for a team called TTV. We're the most successful team in competitive Unite to date, I think. We're all big Twitch streamers at this point from the game. We've had a lot of success.
And you wrote an article for Pokemon.com. That's something.
Oh, yeah. I'm also a guest writer on Pokemon.com. I have another one coming soon, hopefully.
Oh, nice teasing. So let's focus on the first game, and before I'm going to hit the play button, I wanted to ask you a few questions. So we have Lucario's playing Extreme Speed, some Lucario's playing Power Punch. What are the main advantages of Power Punch, and why prefer it sometimes to Extreme Speed?
Extreme Speed is better in team fights a lot of times, better against teams that don't have a lot of crowd control, like CC, to stun you, control you. Another thing is if you're making the play where it's a bit more complex, but if you're making the play where you're going for 720 Bs top and trying to break top point in the second rotation of Bs and go for Rotom instead of Dread, the Extreme Speed is really strong on the Bs. So if the enemy Power Punch Lucario tries to contest you on second Bs and you have Extreme Speed, you're favored. And that's a big turning point in competitive play. The second B rotation, the Combees and Vespiquen in the top lane when they spawn at 720, Extreme Speed's really strong there. What are the upsides of Power Punch? Gives you an unstoppable, makes you immune to crowd control in the mid game, and it's really good for last hitting objectives. It's good against Venusaur. A lot of people like Power Punch against Venusaur because when the Venusaur first walks in, before he has his armor, his defenses from Giga Drain, you can deal a lot of damage in one instance and put the Venusaur kind of in a little bit of danger instantly, where with Extreme Speed, you do your damage slightly more gradually and you're more likely to hit an armored Venusaur with most of your damage, a guy who already has his Giga Drain defenses up. So in terms of how it works against Venusaur, and this is something that Lutano, my Lucario, discusses a lot, is that he wants to be pup against Venusaur to do that quick burst damage before the guy has his armor on. When you're trying to make the top lane play instead of the Dreadnought play these days, if you have Extreme Speed, it's a lot better for quickly killing the bees and breaking the tower.
Okay.
Like if you do the 2v2 top at 720, it favors the Extreme Speed Lucario.
We saw a lot of Cinderace jungle, and we always saw lots of Cinderace jungle during since the game just released, basically. Even with his nerf, we're going to see still a lot of Greninja. So, what's your preference? Do you prefer Greninja jungle or Cinderace jungle?
Me personally, I like the Cinderace comps. I think that Cinder is more stable in the fights. Like the way he plays every fight is kind of predictable. He hits what's closest to him, and then he moves backwards until he's gonna win, and then he moves forwards when Water Shuriken is okay at that as well. But there's something about Cinder that just makes the fights play out in a more predictable way than Greninja. If one team is favored in skill, if both teams are Cinder, the team that has more skill is more likely to win, right? Because just the fights are less volatile with Cinderace. So that's one of the reasons I prefer Cinder. My jungle player says that Venusaur is good into Greninja. As a Venusaur player, I don't know if I agree with them, but That's his take, is that he likes Cinder into Venusaur to hit the Venusaur, and he doesn't like Greninja. Cinder has superior objective burn at most parts of the game. There's some stuff that goes on with the 720Bs, I believe, also that makes Cinderace stronger. I mean, regular Cinderace is a bit better than non-Surf Greninja on the Bs. So like if you're Water Shuriken Greninja versus Cinderace, I think the Cinderace is supposed to be favored in the top lane fight. Greninja, however, though, if both jungles are 9, Greninja's Unite move is more strong at the Dreadnought fight. It's maybe not the Unite move itself so much as Greninja does more with the buff afterwards, where he has increased movement and attack speed.
Okay, so we just got into a new game and we saw two Mr. Mime. That was Pokemon we didn't saw last game. So what's the reason we didn't saw Mr. Mime?
Mime is strong, but I think, you know, the thing about Mime is he gets strong at level 4. So he's a little bit different from Snorlax in that way. He's better on the second rotation than Snorlax. Snorlax is better on the first rotation of neutral Pokemon. Because once Mime unlocks Confusion, he kind of has Smite priority, you know? But Confusion is more strong than Tackle. So once Mime hits 4, Mime is favored.
Iraishin in this tournament played a lot of Talonflame in top lane, and it played solo top every time. In the matchup versus Lucario in early game, do you think it's struggling a bit?
I'm not sure. I played with a team last night. We did some 5v5 stack games, and we played Talonflame top instead of Lucario. It feels okay. I think Talonflame's actually okay. His problem is, like a lot of Pokemon, that he has a slotting issue. If you put him in the jungle, then you don't have like an ADC, and if you put him top lane, then you don't have Lucario. So that's Talonflame's issue.
Okay, so they're diving the Talonflame and going for the Rotom. We saw some teams playing the Rotom first and trying to score. Is this something you can improve, like focusing Rotom instead of Dread in the first rotation in the first few minutes?
Yeah. The only I think it's very good. I think the thing is though that you should break the top goal if you're gonna get Rotom. If you put the Rotom into the first goal, I don't think it's a good strategy. The Rotom needs to go to the second goal for it to be good.
Where there's no super jump, can you push the Rotom?
Can you get it in? Yeah. It can go in for sure.
Just wanted to focus on this team fight. We saw Jamu going in top lane, getting the bees, and try to dive Iraishins, the Talonflame. And then he got back in his jungle, the Dreadnought it started. So he took his level 9, obviously, just before the Dreadnought. So he's going to have time to come back.
I mean, the Dread should probably be gone. The blue team should win Dread in this situation, like before the other Greninja gets here. Yeah. This Greninja that's coming is going to be like level 9. Watch, when he appears, it's going to be like 9.5. Yeah, you see, he's not just 9. He did more than he needed to do.
Yeah.
So he spent too much time, I think, the red team Greninja, but he got away with it in this game. So this play here is very good. The fact that he was able to break that before the Rotom went in, that Rotom would be completely useless if he didn't break it first. Now it opens up some, at the very least, like the red team should be able to farm bottom or accomplish something off of the enemy team being trapped, the blue team here being trapped in top, clearing the Rotom. That's the idea of this Rotom. It makes them, sometimes you can't push it, but it does make the other team clear it. Okay, so you have a second Dread fight here.
Yeah, second Dread fight, and the opposing Greninja just died. We didn't saw it, but in the base he died. We have the Talonflame just back. He's still at the spawn. Is it the time for red team to rush the Dreadnought right now? Should they rush?
Rush, yeah, I would say, but from the blue team side of the bottom. So like they want to hit the Dread, but position themselves between the Dreadnought and the enemy team, so that
like
it's
here?
not a coin flip.
Like here?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, like where you're showing your cursor right now.
Okay, so they can see people arriving, and they just don't pull the Dreadnought to them. Because a lot of players do that. They pull the Dreadnought to the team. Why not doing that?
Yeah, if you pull the Dreadnought to your side when you're certain to win it, it's not good because it just gives the other team space to walk in and get a chance at last hitting it. But if you do the Dread from the other team side, with yourself positioned between them and the Dreadnought, they have to kind of push through you to get to the Dread. So. And
when you have they had the first Dreadnought, so if there's a fight, the red team wants to take it because they have an advantage in experience. The Greninja is 2 level above the other one, so yeah, definitely want to.
So they're up 2 players here at the fight, and they're up experience. They don't want the other team to have any chance of last hitting it. So best way to do it is from the other team side, and you'll see this happens a lot. Like you said, the Greninja is... Oh, this is fine too, where the Greninja just hits it and then the rest of the team just runs at the blue team. That's definitely viable.
Yeah.
I feel like they should be dead already.
Okay, and
They're
then
getting-
they lost the space then because there's a few unite moves, and then it got a bit tricky. I don't know when which unite move make them lost the space. So we have the mime taking the space here, and then we have where the Venusaur, and they all, because I think they see the Talonflame using fly, and I think they're going back, and then yeah, just here the blue team is just taken back the space basically.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this Dread is a 50-50. And the blue team gets it, it looks like. I can't read that, but I think the blue team got it. That was bound to happen when you get the Dread that low, and then the other team's still alive. Second Dread is tricky, especially with the bottom point up, where they can fight off of. You know, the goal is still alive in bottom. Sometimes it can be hard to secure it. Against Talonflame especially, because what happened there is Talonflame flew, and then everyone was concerned about the smite, you know, the last hit. So everyone runs back to the Dread, instead of zoning to other people, and then everyone is on top of the Dread.
Okay,
And
so
that was 50-50 at best for red team there.
what they could have done best is zoning the other people and letting the Talonflame go, and let the Greninja deal with the Talonflame maybe?
Yeah, I think the Talonflame, the Greninja just has to stop burning it until Fly runs out, and then he should be favored to get the Dread.
So they're going to try to dive on the blue side? Okay.
I mean, Venusaur's not here. It's maybe they're setting up for Dread. They're trying to set up for Dread. This is a little risky. They're not ahead, actually. If you look, the blue team actually has the point lead, even though red team has broken a goal.
Oh, the flank? Oh, the flank was perfect. Like you said it, the Venusaur wasn't here, and he's going to use his unite move, going to flank. He sees everyone low HP, and then that's the thing about Venusaur. It's got an incredible bunk and an incredible regeneration of HPs. Like you focus him, he's always regenerating, and that's kind of awful. And he got 3 for 1 actually with this skill.
Yeah.
So yeah.
One thing about Venusaur is he's incredibly fast around the map for a carry. Not many of the other carries in the game can move around the map the same way. Like there's not actually any of them that move the same way Venusaur does. Like that's a pretty big advantage. One thing is though, he uses Unite move before Zapdos. You need to, if you're going to use your Unite move before Zap, you better get a big advantage from it, because now, like you said in Overwatch, it's not good if you have missing Unite moves for the big push of the game. So
yeah, that's macro as always. That's macro, and when you use a Unite move, you have to gain an advantage. So I like that in the MOBA. When you use a resource, you have to gain an advantage. But they got the Dread, so is it worth it to use? I think they use only one Unite move, this one from the Venusaur, to get, and they get the Dreadnought because the Venusaur got 2 kills. So it's worth it maybe, but it's the third Dread, so it doesn't have the same value.
What can be said about it is that like one Unite move is the upper limit. Just like before I said, like you could probably lose like 3 people and have the Dread still be worth it. If they use 2 Unite moves, I would say it wasn't worth it, probably. If you're pressured, if you're like way ahead, and you know the other team is going to try to rip Zapdos instantly, then it's probably not worth it to use 2 Unite moves to just get a little more ahead, you know?
Do you want to use your Unite moves very early or very late, optimally?
It's about, in these Zapdos fights, it's about using enough to not die, but still saving more than the other team, or using yours when they're going to die, you know? So it's... There's no one answer to the question, do you use it early or late? It depends on... If the other team pops five of them and run at you, you can just do Leaf Tornado and run away. Right? Unless they're going to rip Zap instantly. Then you have to pop enough to stop them from ripping Zap. And it's just a balancing act with the other team, you know?
Okay, yeah.
How much they use, you have to respond proportionately in a way that leaves you at an advantage, if possible. One thing to point out here is the Venusaur is missing level 13. You basically need to be 13 on Venusaur for late game fights. It increases the size of your Petal Dance, like Petal Dance Plus, and it's actually a massive advantage, especially against range characters like Greninja.
And that's why we saw some Venusaur doing the buffs. That's why some not like some, I think every Venusaur gets the buffs like in 2-3 minutes, so they get level 13 when a bit late. I saw that a lot.
I think generally speaking though, it's important that all the much like, you know, we're talking about resource management, it's important that all the farm on your side of the map is almost always on cooldown. You know, it's dead and respawning. You don't want to ever, except for during the last 2 minutes, you don't want stuff to be up. This is a coin flip, by the way, this Zapdos. They win it, but...
Yeah, I think so yeah, the call is the flip, I think, because blue team is late, is behind the game, behind
Yeah.
not for 100 points, but they see they lost 2 scoring points. I think
Yeah.
the call here, is it a viable call to say, hey, we're late, just flip Zap, and maybe you can win the game là-dessus? Win the game on it?
Especially with only 40 seconds left, I think they have to do something like this here.
Yeah. Is it like a
did
bit
their decisions
desperate?
that led to the situation? It could be a mistake how they got here, but at this point they have to hit it.
Okay, yeah. So
They do have Talonflame as well, right? So that's
yeah,
if you have Superior Smite, it's definitely a better call than it is if you have
And
worse Smite.
we see the Lucario is going to hit the Talonflame. He knows the Lucario. He knows he needs to take down the Talonflame. So he's low HP. Oh, and the Venusaur actually saves the Talonflame because that's the shield, and the shield tanks the power punch.
Yeah, the Buddy Barrier.
Yeah, Birdie Barrier. So they lost the Lucario who was trying to hit the bird, and then the bird fall back, and it's not even the bird got back, but it. Well, you said it. It's a 50-50, but you see the Greninja is getting stunned.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
favored for sure for the. I say coin flip, but what I mean, it could be weighted. Obviously,
Yeah. You have to
it's-
coin flip, but you can maximize your chance. It's not 50-50.
Yeah,
Like you can do things to.
it's a dice roll where you need to roll 1 to 4, not 1 to 3.
Yeah.
But
I see.
What I mean is that I think 70-30 is like a good odds for the blue team in this game. They weren't like extremely ahead for any part of the game, so taking that Zap at like 70% odds is probably a good choice. For my team, sometimes we play competitive, we're expected to always win, And so when I see stuff like that, I'm like, oh, they're risking the game, but not everyone expects to win every single game, so it's a little different.
Zapdos in the community. I don't learn you anything, but yeah, Zapdos is very criticized sometimes because of it. At high level, it can just flip games, So, what do you think about? What's your opinion about Zapdos? Do you think it needs to be hard nerfed as a pro player, as like Zapdos in high level? I don't speak about Zapdos in ranked, in a low master and whatsoever.
I think Zapdos is okay. That's a little bit frustrating when like something meta goes into it, where you're like, okay, we're the less good team. We're gonna hit Zap, and we're gonna hope, and then like eventually you lose games to it. That's frustrating for me, of course. But I think in general, if teams like are confident and they play in a way that favors them, like a way that actually makes sense, I think Zapdos is a fine mechanic. Assuming everyone's equal, I think that Zapdos is a good mechanic in the game. Like, it can't be where it needs to do something, because defending goals is too easy late game, for sure. And the game could be about who has more money at the end of the game. Lots of weird stuff could happen without, like, in the absence of Zapdos. And I think right now the way it works is fine. You're seeing good teams consistently win.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 teams in the scene that are able to play the game in a way that makes them win more often than other teams, and I think that's all you can ask for from a competitive game.
And that's what I always say to people criticizing Zapdos, and I see them a lot of times. You can tell it in the comments if you're an anti-Zapdos, but yeah, if there's teams like TTV winning almost every tournament, with this consistency, there's a reason. There's a reason, and it's not because they have a lot of luck and they're flipping every Zap and gaining every Zap. No, it's not like that.
Yeah, that's what my teammate always says, that we have the best coin. That's why that's why we win. One thing I would like to see is maybe even slightly less money from Zapdos, where he gives 15 now, even 10 or 5 or none would be okay. I think just the instant scoring is enough probably.
Okay.
Something like that if they're gonna change him, or maybe the heal. You know how he heal.
Yeah,
I don't think the idea of
yeah.
Zapdos is the problem. It's the tertiary effects, where
Yeah.
he gives money and he heals you and he stuns the other team, and it's like this laundry list of sorry for the expressions. This is like, it's so long, this the list of things Zapdos does, and some of it's not necessary, I think.
We learned a lot with you, Goof. So thank you very much for saying yes like instantly to this video. It was really fun to make it, and I hope you enjoyed the experience.
Thanks for having me. I hope you if you ever need me back to redo the other thing or something like that, I'm down. All right.
Okay, nice to hear. Thank you very much, Goof. Voilà, j'espère que vous avez apprécié ce moment avec Goof et que vous avez appris énormément de choses. Si cette vidéo vous a plu, n'hésitez pas à mettre un pouce bleu et à vous abonner. Bien évidemment, vous pouvez me dire aussi en commentaire quel autre joueur, quelle autre équipe vous voudriez voir dans ce type d'émission. Ou si vous voulez voir des interviews un peu plus poussées, peut-être de Goof, vraiment des interviews par exemple, n'hésitez pas à me le dire. En tout cas, j'espère que la vidéo vous a plu. Et sur ce, c'était Pump et je vous dis à la prochaine sur Pokémon Unite FR.